So you've got two health clubs that kept track of the number of hours per month that members spend working out. Okay, so they've asked their members. So there's Fitness Empire and there's Fit for Life, right? Two different fitness places, right? Gyms. What would you do? Let's just do one at a time. What does that remind you of? What do we call that? Frequency table, right? And it's not the frequency table. Listen carefully to this part because we're going to create frequency tables today. This is not one that you have to create. This is already created. So you remember I told you the tally column, like there's usually a tally. That is only there if you make your own to keep track of how many numbers fit in that category. So this is already a finished frequency table. It's already done, right? It's already been combined. So if I asked you to find the mean and the standard deviation of this, what would you do? What's the first step you need to do? Midpoints? Midpoints. So a lot of you are saying it, so that's good. That's why I'm looking around. So yes, the first thing is you want to find the midpoints. Okay, you want to find the midpoints. So right now I'm just going to ask you to copy that, right? So that'll be 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29. Right? So and always make sure that when you calculate this, that it's actually a number that makes sense, that it's within the limits, right? So what do we do next to find the mean and standard deviation? We put the midpoints into L1, right? We're kind of finding the average. And we put the frequency into L2. Okay. What is the frequency in this particular case? These would be members, right? Because there are 9 members that spend between 8 to 10 hours a month, right? There's 18 that spend, so that's what this is. This is in this case, this would be members. And I can go arrow already on this one as well. Okay, let's, so what would you do to find the mean and standard deviation of this? You have to make sure that if you go one variable stats, that you actually put in L1 comma L2, or else you will get this wrong. Okay. And there's a mean and a standard deviation that goes with this, and you're just going to copy for now. This one is 18.304. My key shows it doesn't. 2 decimals is fine, and a standard deviation of 4.85, and we're in hours. How do we know this is hours? Because it's based on this column right here, right? This is how many are in each category, but it's always, this is the unit. This is the unit that follows, right? So we find that. All right. My key doesn't, I forgot to write down what N is. But N, morning. N would be the addition of all of this. I think it's 50 something. We can't do it right now. It would take me too long. If someone in the crowd could quickly add this up, I would appreciate that. Let's do the same thing for Fit for Life, right? So you've got to find the midpoints. And let's just really quickly copy this down. So this will be 7.5. So you get a decimal here. 10.5, 13. So they use different brackets, right? And that is okay. $22.5, this is 25.5, and this is 28.5. And then again, you put that into L1, this is into L2. And your mean and standard deviation would follow, and you get 19.14 hours. and the standard deviation is 5.26 hours. Did someone add this up? Did you, Kelly? 250? You added them, right? This adds up to 250. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. It looks right. It sounds right to me. Did anybody add up this one right here? Yeah. 240 for this one? Thank you. Just a trick, teachers, when we do make a question, we usually want it to be a nice round number, but it won't always be. So basically, when I make this, I go 250 so I just make up random numbers and I start subtracting it until I get to 0, right? So I fill this in, so it's 250, 240. All right, so we've got that figured out. Just based on the mean and standard deviation, what can we conclude if I asked you to describe? Based on the mean, we would say which gym has, on average, more hours spent on by members on average. We definitely say that Fit for Life, on average, members work out for longer hours, right? A little bit more. Okay? But which one of the two gyms is more consistent when it comes to workout time? You have to say the first one, right? Fitness Empire. Cheesy names, I know. But, right, so you got to be able to explain that. And as long as you're making a reference to the mean and what does it tell us, and the standard deviation, what does it tell us, you're fine. Furthermore to that, right, what does this mean here? It also means that it's more spread out, right, that you have maybe a little bit more outliers. So you could have members that spend, right, on the very low end and members that spend on the very high end. Like there's a spread there, okay? And so that causes the standard deviation to be greater as well. What's the definition of standard deviation? I know nobody's gonna just blurt it out, but yeah. Measures how spread out the data is, yes. But then the maybe more nerdy definition of that is that it actually, if you watch the video on how to do it by hand, you're finding the average distance of every single point to the mean, to the average. That's what you're finding. Okay? So right? What did you just say? So imagine you do the math and you figure out that this right here is your mean. Okay? Your mean is, in this case, 19.914 hours. So, and then obviously you have various members, right, with different answers. So the standard deviation finds the average distance of every point to the middle, right? So it considers every single point, and so it'll find the average distance from every single point to that mean. That's why the greater this is, the more spread out your data is, right? Because they're further away from the mean on average. And if this is smaller, right, on average, the distance of every single point to the middle is smaller. That means it's closer together, it's clustered around the mean, okay? So that's why these ones go hand in hand. We'll do more of that. Maybe I'll give you a nice review on the terminology later on. So how would we graph this? If I asked you to make a frequency polygon for both fitness centers on the same grid, we want solid and dashed lines. So I think I used solid for Fitness Empire and dashed for Fit for Life. So I need you to know how to do this one, and you have to be a bit more careful when it comes to this. So let's label first. What do we have down here? This would be workout time, right? Workout time in hours. And this would be frequency. It's always frequency. In this case, it's members, right? Like how many members work out X number of hours. Okay. So what about your X scale? That's a bit more difficult. What should be your smallest value here that you should start with? This one has 6. This one has 8. So 6 is the smallest that you should consider for sure. I'm going to try something else, something different. I think we can start with 0 here. If this is 0, we're just going to go up by 5. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20. Oh, I have too much space. Hold on. See, like I go up to 30. I'm compressing everything into a very small space, so I'm going to try this again. Am I doing this on purpose? Maybe. So I have all of this to make it 30, right? So let's see here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6. That's going to get me to 26. It's a little tight, so I might extend it. I apologize here. But I would like to have enough space. So I'm just going to label this down here, workout time in hours, and I'm going to extend my x-axis a little bit. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. This would be my 30 here. And I think it doesn't hurt. And just make sure you have markings, okay? That's something that I need you to make sure. Don't just put a number somewhere along the x-axis. Clearly tell us which one is which. So if I go all the way up to 30, then I'm doing just fine. What about my frequency? What's the highest number that I need to account for? Look at your tables, right? I look at my table, and here I'm 39, 42 is the highest here, and over here I see 52, right? So I need to account for that. So let's see here on our graph. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That'll work just fine. Again, you can go up by whatever you want to as long as you do it consistently. Do I need a zipper here? I don't need a zipper because if I start right from 0, I'm consistently going up by the same amount. If you wanted to start with 200, let's say, and then go up by 10, that's a problem, right? Then you need a zipper there because you're basically saying, forget about all of this space here, forget about it. I just want to zoom into where I see my data, right? So what do we do now? Let's do one at a time, Fitness Empire. So what you want to do, listen carefully here, you want the 9, that's the number of hours. 9 is right there, between 8 and 10. And you've got 9 members that, sorry, you can't see. Oh, oops. Let's do this again. We've got 9 members that worked out 9 hours. Like we take the midpoints. And we don't have the bars, that's a histogram. So I go to 9 hours and I go up to 9 and put a dot down. The next one is 11. It's between 10 and 12. 11 would be 18 members. So I go and put a dot right on 18. Then I've got 23. Be right there. 32. 32 members work out 15 hours. So I go to 32. If you can, put it right on a place where it belongs. So I'm going to zoom into the graph because some of you are just looking at the graph right now. And I'm just going to read out the numbers. The next one is 39. That's really close to 40. And then we've got 42. And they've got 31. and 22. This is 20, that's 22 right there. 16, 10, so this is 10, 15 would be there, 16 is right there. 11 and 7. 7 is right about there. Okay, then you grab a ruler and just connect, and just make sure you make contact with the ground. Sorry, x-axis, that's what I tried to say, yeah. And then just connect your dots. So the next time you see this, it'll be on an AC, not today, but will it necessarily be two sets of data at the same time? Not necessarily. And then you do the same thing for Fit for Life. If you look at Fit for Life, what is our first midpoint there? I'm just going to go up once. 7.5, right? See that? 7.5 hours. We've got 8 members working out 7.5 hours on average. So you go to 7.5. This would be 7. This is 7.5 right there. And we've got 8. Then we've got 13. So the next bracket would be 10.5. So this is 11 right there. 10.5 is right there. And I'm going up to 13, which is right there. It's just kind of landing on the previous line, which is a little annoying, right? Then we've got 13.5. This is 13 right here. 13.5 is there. And that would be 32. So I'm right there. Then I'm at 47. 47, that'll be 16.5. So this is 17, 16.5 is there. I go to 37. That's also sort of on the line, but that's okay. We're just going to remember that. And then it's 52. That's 19.5. This is 19, 19.5 is there. We go to 42. Should have picked a different color probably. So then it's 25.5. This is, hold on, 22.5. That's 42. Sorry, this one here, folks, 19.5, that was 52. So that goes way up here. My apologies. So we're just going to ignore this one. Then we're at 42. Then we're at 27. That'd be 25.5. We're at 27. And I know this is work, tedious, sometimes even boring, right? Next is 28.5. 28, this would be 29. 28.5 is here. I go to 19 for this one. Okay. And now I use my ruler and just make sure you make contact with the ground. Can you make contact right where you make contact with the other one? Sure, I'm okay with that. And then we're going to try to connect. It was here, and then it was there. Should I make bigger dots? And then it was over there. Came down here. And make contact with the x-axis there. So there's a little bit of an overlap. It seems like they both kind of show the same trend. They're both very close to their averages. Look at this, folks. Averages. The average is about 19 or 18.3 for both of them. So it's kind of, it shows that, right? The average is the highest point of your curve. Does that make sense? Most of your members are where the average are. That's kind of where everything tends to gravitate towards. And then it tapers off towards the ends. This is kind of what we're kind of gearing towards, the bell curve. So lots of work. I just kind of went through this a little quicker, especially with finding the mean and standard deviation. So we're going to